Alrighty, what's up, y'all? It's your girl Malika checking in with another episode of From the Block podcast. Okay, so I'm very excited today because I just love a good group discussion, and I told y'all right that I was going to start holding myself more accountable, hosting more group discussions that focused around mental health, pop culture, and just things that we all need to hear. So today's episode, I'm super excited because it's about mental health. Now, this is the first, I think it's the first, yeah, it's the first group discussion that's about mental health, and I wanted to focus it primarily on men's mental health because we'll get into it later, but we're just keeping it real. Oh man, it's just a lot of pressure to be a guy in society. And we're gonna talk about it because man, y'all definitely do be going through it. So please give it up, right? I have very two special guests in the building. So please give it up for Sir Gates and Rilla.
Let's do it. Let's do
we up
it.
in here.
Blessing to be here, man. Thanks
What's
for
up? How
inviting
y'all
us.
feeling?
Feeling good,
Feeling good.
Woke up
Very
yesterday,
good.
of course. Thanks
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
invite.
Drive was good. We appreciate you having us on.
Oh,
Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you.
Yeah,
Thank
for
y'all for
sure.
coming.
For sure.
On the block.
Period. So, mental health is something that is incredibly important, and I'm glad that I created this platform as a way for us to not only grow, but also to express ourselves and to have real meaningful dialogue about important issues. So, here's some quick stats to get the conversation going. So, according to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, men's suicide rates are significantly higher than women's. And according to minorityhealth.gov, the death rate from suicide for Black or African American men was 4 times greater than African American women back in 2018. So, do you feel like there is a huge pressure as a man to just have it all together?
Excuse me. In my opinion, society can put that on men nowadays just because of, and it depends on how you're looking at it, whether it's from a religious standpoint or just a cultural standpoint. As a guy, right, if you're looked at to be the provider, a protector, and just that leader, one just out here in this world of a household, that's a big weight on your shoulders, right? You just got to think about what come with it. Having to provide, you got to be able to provide financially. Having to protect, that's a big physical responsibility. So just imagine walking around having to think about that 24/7. That's a lot that can weigh on a man's mental. Being, especially if you want to really step into that role and stand into that, like being able to do that, it takes a lot. So, in my opinion, I feel as if that question is very true.
Yeah, no, I agree. Men get a lot of pressure. Because ultimately, I think we're built for that pressure, but we don't get raised to be built for that type of pressure, especially nowadays. Like, we grew up without a father, so we don't know how to hold down the kingdom without a prior king before us. So it's kind of like we look like we young princes trying to learn how to be king without a king before us. You know what I'm saying? So yes,
Facts,
definitely
facts,
hard.
facts.
So, did you all grow up in a two-parent household?
I did.
I did, but I didn't. Mine's a little complicated. It's a gray area. So I had there's a period of time my father was around, then he left for a minute, and I had stepfathers. Real complicated situation, but then he eventually came back. So I did have a two-parent household, but it wasn't your ideal two-parent household. So that makes sense.
Do you think with y'all's upbringing, does that affect you present day mentally? As in, do you feel like you had that example growing up and as a result, you know how to deal with your issues head on? Or do you feel like just as a man in general, it's just an unfair pressure put on you regardless of your upbringing?
Like for me, I did grow up in a two-parent household, but like I tell people all the time, that don't mean nothing, right? Because I had my mom and my dad, but where I come from Decatur, so my family was always in the state of having to survive. Excuse me. So there wasn't really a presence of like the speaking into, the motivation, the encouraging, and just the teachings of being a man, because we were so focused on we got to pay these bills, we got to get the money up to do X, Y, and Z. So just because I had two parents in the house, it wasn't seen or structured as you got your mom, you got your dad, so therefore your dad is pouring into you on the man standpoint, and your mom is giving you the love and all that stuff. So because we were so focused on survival, I missed out on a lot from a man's perspective. So I had to grow up at a very young age. Like I was helping pay bills 13, 14 years old, having to go out with pops just to cut some grass, and I not get paid just to keep the lights on and this and that. So just because I had those two figures in my home, it necessarily didn't prepare me to be a man today. So a lot that I had to learn. I mean, not taking anything away from my dad. He did the best he could, right? As every man always do. Well, most, I can't say everyone, most do. But there were things that I did learn as far as having to be able to hustle and try to survive. It instilled some principles and values into me to where I had to still apply those to this day. But a lot I had to learn on my own as life went on, right? So it was just making mistakes, bumping my head and taking these quote unquote losses as lessons and growing from it. So I had to just build from that personally.
Well, Gates got and took me somewhere. Can you ask that question one more time? He had me thinking about something.
Yeah, no, the question was, so basically, do you think that growing up in a, what was the question?
Two-parent household.
I forgot what the question was.
I was just saying, growing up in a two-parent household, like having that father figure, did it really prepare us to be men?
Yeah. Okay, there you go. Thank you. Getting that one out. So basically, growing up in a two-parent household, do you feel as if that prepared you to deal with your challenges mentally head on, or do you feel like there's just an unfair advantage placed on you because you are a man?
Well. Nah, okay, so I feel like it did and it didn't. The way I grew up, so again, because no disrespect to my father, because like I said, he did try his best, like Gates said. But he wasn't a stable man. My mother was the more stable person. So growing up, my mother put her fears, because she had to raise 3 boys, on me. Cause she was like, and so everything was like it's dangerous out there, you know what I'm saying? I think my mother she put a lot of like, when I was young, she put a lot of fear in me. So it was like, just because she was scared for me. So like growing up, I think a two-parent household for me, no, not necessarily. I don't think it's unfair, like I said, because, anything that we go through, we're built for it, apparently, you know what I'm saying? So, but growing up, I think that two-parent household put me in a position where, again, like how he said, you have to figure your own way and learn your way, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
So what were some of the fears that your mom placed on you?
Man, that's a lot. Okay, so I grew up. I had my oldest brother was schizophrenic. He was in the street. I had another brother below him who's autistic, and then there's me. I was the youngest one. No real like mental things. I probably had something, but compared to my brothers, I was like the most normal. And so she would try to put what he doing on me, like you can't, like, for a long time I couldn't really go too many places. You know what I'm saying? When I was younger, she used to like school, everything, the pressure. I felt the pressure of me being the one child that like everybody, saying that you would lean on. So she would lean on me like the most, you feel me? So those fears as far as like going out here getting shot somewhere, because my brother was always dabbling, doing stuff. I mean, just the fear of just, again, being a black man. You can't go to, what I'm saying, police. She would show me like certain stuff, and she wouldn't show me to be like, to empower me. I don't, like I said, again, not to be like, to give her discredit. Like I said, I know she did it from a sense of a mother nurturing her son. She's scared. She don't know, cause eventually this little boy, this is my baby, gonna grow up to be a man. And I can't do so much for him. So it was like one of those things. She just put a lot, just the average pressure of a black man, she would put that on me. Then the fact that my father wasn't stable, it made it worse, because I didn't have that stable father. So she was like, I don't know how, like being more empathetic for her. She was putting a lot of that. Her traumas for my father, things that she's seen, you know what I'm saying? A black man getting killed, my uncle was killed. And just a lot of that, she put a lot of that on me, them pressures, you know what I'm saying?
So out of curiosity, because we've talked about this before, people always say that as you grow into adulthood, it's imperative to, when you're looking at your parents, to take that parental role away, like put it to the side and view them as people. And then as a result, that's going to help change the relationship.
Yeah.
What do y'all think about that?
I agree with that 100%.
For me, that definitely happened the older I got. Because, of course, growing up through all those struggles, it was just like, well, damn, why is mom and dad going through X, Y, and Z and we're suffering from it? But as you get older and gain more responsibilities, and some may have kids, you can kind of grasp and understand, like, okay, they could have possibly been doing the best they could have, but who knows the behind the scenes of what they was going through. So as I got older, I just had to step back and say, okay, let me put myself in their shoes. If I had 4 kids, going through that. I know 2008, that was a big recession then, going through those type of things in life. I could only imagine the type of struggle they was going through. So I had to kind of just put my judgment to the side and my thoughts of why didn't I have this and that to say, maybe they could have done better, of course, but they did the best they could, right? So just looking at them as the average human and not just mom and dad, it definitely shifted the perspective of give them some grace as a grace I want to be put on myself when I have kids, just to say, I may not be the best father, I'm gonna try my best to be, but life happens, and when it happens, you can't predict how it's gonna happen, when it's gonna happen, and what's gonna be the result from it. So I definitely agree with that. Just saying you gotta just take a step back and put your feelings to the side and look at them as, hey, we grow through what we go through, So they did the best they could.
Yeah, I agree. You like once you do that, you like I said, you get a whole nother understanding. Because I used to think my mother could do no wrong. You know what I'm saying? You're a mama's boy. I was a mama's boy. I can admit that. You know what I'm saying? And my father, I love my dad too, but then like I said, he was more absent than my mother. So as it got to a point where I was like, Dad is the one doing all the wrong. And then as I grew as a man, I started understanding, like, yeah, okay, that's my dad, but it's also another man. And this man shit ain't for many people. You know what I'm saying? A lot of men can't hold that type of weight. So yeah, exactly. And so then I started looking at my mom. Again, you start dealing with women. You start understanding women got their own little. You know what I'm saying? Y'all complex too. So it's, see what I'm saying? Shit ain't so gravy with y'all either. Y'all pretty and everything, but y'all, yeah. So it's like I was like, okay, let me reevaluate this. Then I started kind of seeing, and I started asking certain questions. And I was like, yeah, well. She was like, well, we all do our day, because I don't, without putting their business out there, I learned that my mother ain't the saint in that relationship either. It was things that went down. So I think I did gain a better understanding between my mother and my father. Once I did that with my dad, me and him became closer than what we ever were. 'Cause we used to argue, all type of stuff. Once I realized that, we had a sit down. I shook hands with him for like the first time. I think that was like the most intimate moment with my father that I've ever had in my life. When I realized that he's just another man just like me.
So what prompted that? Because you easily could have just been like, man, forget all this. So what prompted you to take that first step in, trying to amend relationships with your dad? I
started realizing I was doing the things that my father do. Real talk. Like I was like the things I would do, like the way I was acting in relationships, just how I was moving. I was moving like my dad. The things that I hate about this man, I was doing it. And that was like one of them situations, when you high as hell and you just sitting back thinking, I'm on a shroomy or something. I'm thinking, I'm just like, oh man. I'm like, damn, I do the same shit my dad do. So it was like one of those not revolution, but revelation.
Yeah. And
so that's when I started trying to reach out. It was cringy at first. Don't get it twisted. Like, it's hard. My dad we don't do all that. We be like, what's up, nigga? What's happening? And that, so for me to be like, Dad, I gotta talk to you. And we did that. It was like, it gotta get done. So it was weird. Don't get like that whole interaction. I'm making it sound nice. I'm putting some flowers on it, but the way the interaction went was not. But in the end, we understood what it was. We just we shook hands, hugged, and that was that. After that, me and him been straight ever since.
So okay, I have a lot of questions. I'm just trying to see how I can organize this. Okay, so do y'all feel as if y'all had to take on more responsibility in your adolescent days, compared to your other peers?
Me personally, yes. Because it even showed, right? So just for an example, like back to what I said, having to help my pops go out and cut grass and do so many odd jobs. It was to the point to where in my neighborhood, it was a lot of us homies running around, right? They knew for a fact, if I wanted to come outside, I got to come to them. Because if they walk down the street past my house, they getting caught up doing some work. They knew that I was just my life. Like, if you go down past Gates's house, you got to hide from his pops or whatnot. Because if you see y'all, hey, come help me dig this trench real quick. Like, that's a true story. In our crib, it was like built on a septic tank. It was an older crib, right? So my homeboy Trey, out the Trey, he had came down the street, wanted to go outside and go to the YMCA, but my dad opened the door and seen him. Hey, come back here and help me. He was stuck. So, but just having to say that, it was just like I had to make sure home was straight before I went outside. Before I did anything, it was just if there's responsibility to get done at home or to help provide for home, I had to do that first. So that just put me in that mindset of I had to grow up early in that. But it built me to the man I am today, just a note for the fact that take care of your responsibilities first before you go out and party, play, have fun. Because if home is a wreck, it's going to show in your life. So that just
true.
It helped out a lot doing that. But it has its pros and its cons.
Yeah.
Because I missed out on so much of my childhood having to do that and grow up. But again, life happened for a reason. It happened how it happened. So I'm not mad at it at all. Back, I used to be, but like you said, we talked about earlier, the older I got, I just realized like that was just our story. That was just our life. So just stick with it and grow through it. And at least now that I'm an adult, I got so much more time left. God willing to get that fun back, to go out and play and with my friends and just travel and this and that. So, but it definitely had to make me take on 10 times more responsibilities than my peers I was around me. Because I was in high school, as soon as I get my work permit, I was leaving school going to work because I had to. I wanted to, but it was just like
work study. That's what they call it. Right?
Work study. So I was leaving school, going to work at Stonecrest when Burger King was still in there, working there, getting off at 8, 9 o'clock at night, riding the MARTA back home, and then getting go to school the next day, every day doing that. So it was just minimal time to real deal be a child. But at the end of the day, it showed me what money was, money management, how to make it, how to hustle for it. So again, I can't complain, but I was complaining. But it's a balance of everything though. So that's how that went.
I'm gonna chime in though. My boy, real talk, my boy really but the most responsible dude I know is this man right here. But real talk, I ain't gonna lie. He teaching me how to be more responsible. Just by him doing him, you know what I'm saying? So
that's how we gotta be for each other. We all we got, man. Yeah. So we gotta look out for each other for real.
My brother, you know what I'm saying? He did. Yeah, but mine was more so like it was like I think I've always had like a heavy heart, only because I felt that pressure. Because like imagine being a little kid, you like 5 or 6, and you got your brother and Jacob. If y'all, if whoever watched this who know me and they know Jacob like 6'5", almost 300, almost 400 pounds. He a big boy. He's autistic. He's always been big like that. Imagine you having a brother that big and you got to make him something to eat, and you young as hell. You got to make, you know what I'm saying? So that's like, I just felt that was something I always felt. You know what I'm saying? My mom tried to relieve the pressure, but it's like, she had to go to work too.
Yeah.
Things had to get done. So she never really like urged me to go to work. My mom, she never did that, but it was something that was in me that knew I had to go do something.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like I don't know. It kind of hit really early. I didn't know what it was though. I used to always be like, I guess that's when my anxiety came from. That's probably like, that's crazy. I just realized that. But yeah, that's my first real feeling of anxiety was that, because realizing like, damn, because somebody coming here is like my brother. He's nonverbal autistic. He's big as hell, but just nonverbal. He looked like he gonna do something to you. He's a gentle giant though. So it's like one of them things was like, this big person, I gotta take care of this big person. Look at like I'm trying to watch cartoons. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Baby.
I'm a child. You feel me? But it was just like, it was a natural pressure. It wasn't something that I got forced on me, nothing like that. Like I said, my mom would have me do chores and all that, but my mom mostly tried to get me for school. She tried to get me to try to stick to school. But anything else outside of that was something that I just felt. It wasn't even you got to do this, but I felt it. I said one day my mama can't live forever. You know what I'm saying? Daddy can't live forever. Who's gonna take care of this dude? You know what I'm saying? After this whole thing over with, and my brother was like, my older brother never really seen him. If I seen him, he was in and out, grabbing something, and he gone, because he was out there, you know what I'm saying?
So I'm curious to know y'all's opinion on hustle culture. Because, in our community, right, it's like, if you're not making motion, then it's like, what you even doing? You get what I'm saying? And I've noticed in other communities, they really value community. Like, it's always somebody around. And I've noticed, with our community, it's like, get it out the mud. Like, that's what you're supposed to do. Right. So hearing y'all stories, I'm like, y'all had really big responsibilities at a young age, And you know how the Bible says how there's a season for everything. So there's a season to be a kid. When I was a child, I acted like a child. I looked like a child. And then when I became an adult, I, looked like an adult. I acted like an adult. So do you think hustle culture is a toxic way?
Good question.
Of thinking?
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's like, in my opinion, it's a double-edged sword to that, right? Because it's like, for me and my children, I want them to know how to quote unquote hustle and work for what you want, but I don't want them to be stuck in that mindset of, in order for me to be successful, I have to have that story of, I got it out the mud. Because it's like, if my children have to have that story, I failed. Because why did I not do what I needed to do to provide for them to not have to get it out the mud, right? But at the same time, you got to work for what you want in life, and it takes time, effort, sacrifice and responsibility to get it. So you gotta hustle and put in that work. But it's just about having a good balance to it when you're doing that work. So, and then in our culture, in African American culture, it's not a lot of black dollars that's circulating around in our families, right? Just look at everybody else. They have trust funds set up. They come from sometimes places of money, so they don't necessarily have to hustle for what they want. But because of in our culture with rap music, TV and film, just our life, it just shows that that's the way to get it, and that's the best thing to do, right? But again, that's why it's a double-edged sword, because you do need that mindset, but sometimes it could be poisonous to where if you hustle so hard, you can miss out on time with your kids, your spouse, and your family and stuff like that. So would you rather sacrifice that for a monetary value, or, you know, have a good balance and say, hey, let me build this schedule to where I'm a hustle, but I still got to put God first, my family, my me time, my mental health, and just take care of self, versus just saying all I do is work, but that's all we know how to do, and that's just what's glorified as go, and just get it out the mud, still, quote unquote. But I mean, so hustle culture is just it has its pros and its cons. You got to have some of it in your course, or else what you're just gonna sit around and be lazy and not get nothing done. But it's just figuring out what works for you and what hustle really means for you in your life, and not just applying what you see as hustle culture to your certain situation, because it could defeat you and break you down. You're gonna burn out, and if you burn out, that's it for you. So it's about a good balance.
Yeah, I think I consider like that hustle culture is like a media version of that, and then there's like the real life. You know what I'm saying? Again, that's what Gates is talking about. Just some people cut off the whole, you know what I'm saying, all your friends if they not on this level as you, not knowing that everybody is not on the same level. You know what I'm saying? So it's like people do, I don't know, like it's like the media version of hustle culture is very selfish. Again, to hustle, yeah, you do got to be a little selfish, but it's like that's like isolating you. What great organization, anything happen with just you by yourself?
True.
That don't make sense. So it's basically encouraging people to chase money, because not hustling. People are not hustling to build nothing. They hustling to get money.
Facts.
If you have money and you don't know what to do with it, you just stacking up paper. That's all it is at that point. So it's like it's toxic the way the media put it out there. But for the ones who understand the essence of hustling, you understand that, like, you know, okay, I do have to go do this. I have to be disciplined, yes. Certain people, yes, you cut them off, but that's if they require to be cut off. You know what I'm saying? And your family gotta come first, because I mean, I'm trying to say it in the sense of like, when you got your family there, that's what holds you down whenever you do it. Yes, when you're doing this, your community, there it is. You have to have that, because that's what's gonna keep you going. If you ain't got that, what's the purpose of you chasing the hustling? Like, what are you hustling for? Are you hustling to build a kingdom, or you hustling to build your own pockets for just you? Because I mean, if I got $1 million, if I just got $1 million and everybody around me don't, it doesn't make sense. Right. So it's like, it's just, yeah, it's, you know.
And just as piggyback on what he said, it's like if you gonna hustle and you have no destination or no, real deal foundation, like you just stacking bread. But if you can hustle with a purpose, it's gonna make sense. Like, you gonna prioritize X, Y, and Z to make the hustle make sense. But if you're not prioritizing nothing, you just doing all this stuff just for the looks and for the prizes and the monetary value. But like I say, it's a right and wrong way to do everything. And without having that drive and determination, you're not gonna get it. But drive and determination can also transition into hustle culture. But again, it's a cultural thing. This is what's been pushed into our face of, you know, that 1% lifestyle is 1% for a reason. And some of that 1%, they didn't get it off of hustling, but they'll probably portray that to you like, you know, you got it out the mud and X, Y, and Z and X, Y, and Z. But some of that stuff was you were just put in the right position and it was around the right people or born into it. So did you really have to hustle for it? So why are you really pushing that in the culture? But again, just with us, a lot of people are so impressionable. They gonna just take on what they see and what they hear and then believe this is the right way to do it, until you start seeing you losing family relationships, you losing friends and all the good things that come with life. But back to what I say, it's just a good balance to it. But definitely hustle, but just think about it and do it the right way. And that's just my take on it.
I just always think when people be rich and they like kill themselves, I just always be like, why are you doing that? Why'd you do that? Like, even when I see celebrities, not like being like unsympathetic to them, but just be like, you got all that and why you don't like you don't want your life? And then I realized that like some of them people probably ain't do it the right way. You know what I'm saying? You
Just
probably
chasing the
done
bag.
sacrifice all type of relationships, like all that. I think I was the last movie I seen Elvis. I watched Elvis with my mom. Yeah, it's crazy, but I watched Elvis with my mom.
Yeah.
And like just watching that, like he was chasing that bag. He was so blind. And he realized like he done lost his wife. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He lost these things. It's like damn. And that usually be the story for a lot of people who doing it. So I rather not. I rather do it. You know, even if it ain't fast. You feel me? When we get to it, I can still have my community with me. And it's much better.
So why do you think that our community doesn't really value, like not value, but why do you think our community, they don't really understand the importance and put it on a high pedestal, the importance of community? I don't know if that makes sense.
I think.
Uh,
Go. I think it's because like I said, it's not pushed. The way the agenda is right now for like everybody is everybody to be of self. It's a very selfish world we in right now. Like back then, when us as melanated people, we needed each other. Now it's like, cause I guess we got the, you know, cause some melanated people that think they on the level of a white person. I'm not to say it like being like racist, but that's what they think. They took on this colonizer mindset of I'm gonna be above this person. I want to be above. Like some people can't take being a
Well,
certain role.
the proper term is they're part of the bourgeoisie. That's the proper term.
What's that?
Bourgeoisie. So
Bourgeoisie?
they're
Never
the
heard
black
that.
people that they don't consider themselves like a part of us. Like
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
so
Okay.
yeah, they're really
Taught me
like
something.
hell bent on being a part of the upper class, and they really want white acceptance.
Is it okay? Yeah. So damn, I didn't know that. Say the term one more time.
It's the bourgeoisie.
bourgeoisie.
Yeah, I learned that in African American studies.
That's what's up. Okay.
So
yeah.
that was Malcolm X. I used to call him out all the time.
Yeah. So it's like they just pushing this type of everybody wants to be like the one, and they don't. There is no one. You know what I'm saying? You not above nobody in the room. You know what I'm saying? You just that's why community. Everybody got their role. Everybody got what they do. That would make all of us good. You know what I'm saying? But they don't push that. The social media don't push it. Nobody pushes that.
Yeah, and because community is important though, but like he's saying, again, and back into our culture, everybody want to be the alpha, male or female, but another issue is people don't know how to play their role. Everybody got a certain role to play, and if people understand that, and like for a fact, buddy over here or sister over there, they the thinker, and your homie over here, they good with money, or somebody over here, they good with content, this and that. If everybody just play their role, you're gonna build a community, but all still be able to reach the same goal and the same level. But if everybody want to be the alpha and be the one in the spotlight,
Right.
you pushing everybody else away, and you're not gonna build community because you build selfishness with that greed and envy. So if people would just get to that mindset of really, like they're saying, it takes a village, right? And that village is gonna be your community. But if you just learn how to play your role and play it well, everybody can eat, everybody can win, especially if you got the right leadership in that community, in that situation. But without that, and everybody just want to be in the spotlight and the limelight, and again, so social media pushes that. Like you see all the influencers and creators, and it's just like you would see it's just them, but a lot of them have a real deal team behind them, but they may not push that narrative. But that's how they got, partially how they got to where they at now today. So playing your role and understanding that by yourself is not gonna happen. People will value community 10 times more, and just knowing we all can shine and do this together, right? But they're doing it the right way and not being selfish. It'll push that narrative of, hey, community is needed, and that village is definitely needed.
Fact. I'm still tripping off the bourgeoisie.
Oh yeah,
I'm still tripping. I'm
That's
still
the term.
tripping on that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, Malcolm X used to be going in on them.
Yeah, nah.
Facts. So it's really interesting that you said that. So how does social media play a part into the toxic beliefs that I don't want to say we, but that a lot of people have in terms of how men should act?
Just by not showing the real, like the behind the scenes of what's really going on. Of course, on social media, you're gonna post the highlights and not the what you're really going through. So if you only seeing a certain type of image, and especially if you're growing up and watching that, that's what you're gonna believe. So we're just gonna say, hey, if this is what they're showing me, and I'm spending all my time on this platform and not really doing personal or self-development and really finding myself or finding the real answers, this is what I'm gonna go with. Because again, especially for younger men at that age, they're very impressionable. It's like, hey, if I see this guy on social media, he getting the women, he got some money, he doing X, Y, and Z, and that's a part of what you want, they're going to subscribe to whatever he's preaching and what he's teaching. So, and that's what they just going to download to their brain and operate in that manner. But it's just that it's supposed to be enforced on us as men sometimes. If you're not mentally strong enough to understand that, okay, some of the stuff isn't real, some of it's a facade, and there's really more behind the scenes. And a lot of these people may have been struggling to get that mindset of wherever they at, and a lot of it may be fugazi. It can be very disruptive to a young man growing up. And sad to say, some older men, some older guys are still trying to chase their childhood because they may have missed out on X, Y, and Z, and it's really screwing them up. Just saying, okay, shoot, this 1% on social media, this is how they live and say how to do it. So that's how I'm gonna do it. So it's affecting us in a bad way.
Yeah. As far as social media go, like I said, that's the main platform that everybody on. People they get their news from it. They get they lifestyle, they dress, everything come from it. And so like, especially now, like you ever seen them pages that just got these it's like the page is strictly for like advice. I see one that be like alpha advice or being how to be a man and all this shit. But so it's like catering to a certain crowd, which is a lot of us. I'm pretty sure everybody in this room follow one of them pages, at least one of them. Like, oh,
I swear I
oh,
don't.
okay, but
it's so stupid. Because like, here's the thing though: if you actually go out and see the world, it's and touch grass, it's 50 times different than what you see on social media. Like, y'all seen the debates where it's like, oh, a man shouldn't be smoking hookah. My man shouldn't be smoking hookah.
Yeah, a man shouldn't smoke hookah. Yeah.
If you go to North Africa and the Middle East, first they don't call it hookah. They call it it's called shisha. Yeah, shisha.
Sure.
It's literally like a sign of wealth. It's a sign of respect. It's a group of men, right? North Africa and all over the Middle East. You go out, right, with your friends. It's a sign of wealth. It's a sign of respect. You smoking the hookah. Actually, it's really common for the women to do it in private. So if it's like a group of girls going out smoking, it's like, it's not illegal, but it's like, what you doing? You feel what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to go out and actually see things. So I don't follow those
I agree
like
with
weird
you because
pages.
it's like, and I've noticed this myself. Like when I travel, I always come back with a different mindset. Because it's like if you don't see it, your mind will not be able to grow or process something you want to believe or something you want. And that's just to go back like with the hookah. When people say, oh, men shouldn't get manicures and pedicures, that's so damn stupid. To me.
Exactly.
Like,
man shouldn't wear shorts.
Like people say, oh, that's something feminine. Or people just so quick to put a gender role on certain things to get done for what reason? I don't know why, but getting a manicure and pedicure to me, that's just practicing good hygiene. I know for a fact, women, they will love a man who does that. Like a man with dirty fingernails, they hate it. Long nails, of course, in other instances, it's not gonna work doing what you're trying to do with them long, dirty fingernails. They're gonna turn you away when you're trying to do that stuff. So it's like, it's just a hygienic thing. So why are you gonna sit here and put on, if you're getting your nails and feet done, bro, you gay or you sweet or something like that. But in reality, I'm taking care of my hygiene. I want to look clean and presentable. I want to project myself as someone who actually cares about my appearance. But just saying, putting a feminine role to it, it's just dumb. It's like, just live your life and stop trying to make stuff a trend or make stuff what it is when it's really not. Like, if a dude want to smoke hookah, it's just smoking hookah. You know, it's just an act of what they're doing. So I don't.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
That stuff is crazy.
I'm one of them, so I apologize. Yeah, so
that man shouldn't smoke hookah.
I just cause like I used to. I'll be real. Like when I was coming up, like I used to do it. I'd be like, this do look kind of strange. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think it's more so because I would see more of the women doing it. Like, and me growing up with like the type of father, uncles, and OGs I had around me, that was just like what the hell you doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? And I was, so like that's
go out more and travel. I'm
telling
you.
And I do know that. So I do know it's different in certain areas of the world. So, but as far as like, see, I can admit when I'm like wrong, but that was something I was just like, man, hell nah, you tripping. Like, nah, real talk. Like, it'll be like, man, this nigga, he bugging. But like I said, again, it was like how I was just raised. Like, even now, like, I think my dad be like, what the hell you doing? Even if I did it, he'd be like, even the manicures, I'm with those, you know what I'm saying? I'm with that manicures and all that to make sure you good. My dad, if I go home and be like, hey, Pop, he be like, nigga, why your damn fingernails look all clear and shit? Like, he gonna think they pretty. He gonna call it pretty. And so it's like that, you know what I'm saying? But yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, no, for sure. I definitely want them. I can't even.
You outside,
can't even play.
Trying to flip your hair and doing all that. That's a whole different story. But it's just like, live your life, man, and stop letting folks project X, Y, and Z into your life. But there
Yeah.
are certain situations, could look a little suspect, but it's just like, whatever, dude. Do what you gonna do and keep moving forward. That's just culture.
But even with that, with like, oh, it could look a little suspect. I mean, like, why can't y'all just relax? Like, just be a human being. Like, what is sus? What is?
Well,
even
I'm saying as far as somebody was like a dude, you smoking hookah, and like you saying you trying to flip your hair in and bop like a female. That's a different story. Now I'm just
what
going
if he just
out.
likes the music?
I mean, nah,
It's the way
it's a way you do it.
I ain't gonna go that far and disagree with all that.
Yeah, I would say you too much grace. You end up on the other side. We ain't gonna stay over here.
You can like the music and still, do your thing, but acting just like a female, that's totally different.
Yeah,
but
it's
again,
different,
like if they doing smoking hookah, it is what it is, dog. Just live your life, and if you know who you are, and you know that ain't you, forget people judgment. Like, be you. Shit, it is what it is.
And if that happened to be you, the one who do that while smoking hookah, we still love you. You know what I'm saying? We still respect you. It's just we wouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? So we gonna just put that out there.
Y'all funny. So what were some mental health stigmas that you grew up believing that as an adult you realized was false?
Going to therapy and going to see a counselor. Like growing up, especially as a man, first started in the black community, but as a dude, it's like, you gonna go talk to somebody, you must be soft or you must can't handle your own problems. But as I got older, I had went to the military. When I came back, the job I was doing out there was shooting rockets and missiles. So when I came back home, it was just like, there's nothing here for me to do in that realm of a job. So I dealt with depression and anxiety and stuff like that. So I had to really figure out, how can I get myself out of this rut? And just doing research, it was either go see a therapist, a counselor, do meditation. So what I did, I took it upon myself to actually do the work, and I got into all of that. And once I seen how good it worked and how healthy it was, it changed my whole perspective of going to talk to somebody and going to figure out, how can I improve my personal development and mindset outside of feeling like, oh, what I'm doing is looked down upon in X, Y, and Z. But just having that space to speak to someone who they shouldn't, let me say that, they shouldn't have judgment about what you're telling them, or it should be a safe space, but to have someone to be able to respond to you in a manner of understanding or trying to help you get through your issues, I agree with it 100%, but it just sucks that even till to this day, it's looked down upon to just be a man about it and go handle your problem. Like, it ain't that bad, but the brain is like the most important part of your body. Without your brain, you can't think, you don't function. So you go to the doctor, right? If you break your leg, you go to the hospital or doctor. If you get a cold, you go to the doctor. But mentally, it's a part of your body. So if something's going on wrong in there, go see a doctor, because they have resources to help you figure it out and to help you heal from past. Everybody got past trauma, whether they want to say it or not.
Yeah.
Everybody has dealt with something in their childhood and either adulthood to where they're traumatized from it, still hurting and still trying to heal, but we don't have all the answers ourselves, right? So you got to find some kind of way to get those answers and to heal from it. And therapy and mental health resources are one of those ways to do it. But for it to be looked down upon, I just don't agree with that part. So that was one of the things that I've seen as a child growing up. That was a stigma being placed on that.
I think, well, you summed that therapy up for sure. So yeah, but I think mine was like men don't cry. You know what I'm saying? That was one I did. Like, even when I was young, crying, like, I just always felt bad after that. I don't know why. That was it's a weird feeling that you been a kid, you cry and you be like, why the hell am I crying? Like, it was like I felt embarrassed, you know what I'm saying, to do that. And of course the therapy, like I said, that's definitely just needed. We black people need that in general, you know what I'm saying? We need that. Like, and also this is kind of like this is a funny one. I used to thought all adults were rich when I was young. I swear to God. I think to tell the gays, I just felt like, I don't know. I feel like because I was a kid with nothing, and like I said, so for me to be for that pressure, like I need something, like I don't know what it was at the time, but I used to see adults like, you got a car, you buying me candy, you must be rich, like not knowing candy only costs $1, $2 or something like that. So I did grow up with that, thinking all adults had it together. When I got older, I was like, oh, man, it's nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so you felt that pressure on you that, okay, so no, pause. Were you aware that you didn't have like that much growing up?
I mean, okay, nah, so without this, like, cause no discredit to my mother, she kept the lights on. We always had something to eat.
No, sorry. Not when I meant like that much, I meant like basically how you are now. it wasn't really like what the financial situation was when you were growing up.
Yeah, nah, like not.
So were
like,
you aware of that?
Like I was aware. Like I said, I felt the pressure. It's like certain stuff
Mm-hmm.
was not getting done. You know what I'm saying? Or like as far as me go, as far as I go, like if I wanted to get something, I used to see adults going they little pocketbook,
Yeah.
wallet, and do stuff. I'm like, I ain't got no wallet. You know what I'm saying? I'm young though. I ain't supposed to have one, but I ain't got that. I don't got these little dollar bills and all that. I don't, if I want something, if I see something on TV, like a Spider-Man toy for a commercial, Hasbro or something, I'm like, I can't go get it. I don't even know how to go get that. So it was like one of them, I don't know, it was like one of them things where I felt the need to grow up, but I wasn't in that position, so it gave me a sense of anxiety. Like you ever like felt something like you want to elevate, you can't. So feel like you just because at your status where you at.
And then most importantly, it's like you know what you want, but you don't know how to get it.
Exactly, it's
And
like
then
that.
It can, definitely.
So
I feel exactly.
So
what
it
you're
did
saying.
that. So when I seen adults having stuff, I just be like, y'all all rich, like all adults. Like I told Ben, I've been knowing him for a long time. So I was at that little immature. So I was like, I thought them boys rich. I couldn't understand. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Even though they not doing horrible, but it's just the fact that I'm thinking they got it all together. They got this
my
thing.
mind when he told me, I was like, man, we was still
I knew him
figure this out, dog.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like real. So that right there was just like like realizing I'm like, oh, it's not like that, and because I'm one of them adults now, so it's like, okay, I ain't perfect, I ain't bad, but I ain't perfect. I still got things I need to grow from mentally, spiritually, emotionally, everything. I'm still growing, and then you really realize that you for forever gonna be growing. It's never really gonna stop until you
never stops.
Yeah, until you transition. You feel me? So
Facts. So what do y'all currently do to take care of your mental health? Like, do you meditate every day? Do you stretch?
So, well, for me personally, I still do see a counselor. I try to go. It used to be like once a week, but so now it's like every 2 weeks, or sometimes if it's busy, once a month. But outside of that, like for me, I had to really figure out like what made me happy and what I enjoy. And part of that is like water and just peace and quiet and nature. So I'll go to a pier and just sit there, get a little lawn chair, just sit there and just think in the peace and quiet and silence. So that helps me mentally. Meditation, I don't do it as much as I used to, but daily I still, I know. I'm trying to get back into it, but
day.
learning the value from it and the process of it, as far as like, it's okay to have the thoughts that you're thinking, like don't run from them, but acknowledge them, sit with them for a while, but learning to let it go and not
letting it overtake you.
Yeah, and going on that thought train of, okay, this may be the situation. What if this happened? Or if that happened, what if this happened? And knowing that if you was to just sit in the present, none of that stuff is actually happening, and it may not ever happen. So meditation really helped me out, and learning that in that realm of not to just follow that train of thoughts of negativity, and just realizing that it's okay to have them, but are you really going through that right now? And will you be going through that tonight or tomorrow? But so meditation, therapy, the sitting by the water, and just finding a peace of mind, that's how I really kind of take care of my mental health. And also just like having conversations with other people, just getting stuff off my chest, that's how I really take care of myself mentally.
So I think meditation definitely. I didn't believe in that 100%. Like when you met me at GC, that logic was not meditating. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't doing none of that. I mean, so and meditation is different for me. So I got different ways that I meditate. Sometimes my meditation is just me sitting in quiet. You know what I'm saying? Nothing.
Yeah.
I practice in the morning of trying to just get up and not going straight to Instagram. You know what I'm saying?
For
Or
sure.
really not even talking. I don't even want to talk for real. In the morning, I be trying to just be as quiet as possible for myself, just to wake up and just get them first little thoughts out. And like really the news, I don't even fuck with the news. When people tell me stuff,
for sure,
I really don't be knowing. If I know, it's because of the social media. That's literally. But you ain't finna catch me watching no Fox. Like I know what's going on. Niggas dying. That's
all they show.
That niggas dying. Okay, I ain't trying to be unsympathetic to them people, but just.
It would be very draining.
Yeah, that's draining.
Especially present day now. Oh my God, it's always
that's
something
all you
going
see.
on.
You ran by it's a fear culture. Like they could push fear on you and all this and that. That's how they want to try to control folks. But like the news, I haven't watched the actual like Channel 2, 5 in so long, because back then they used to show half negative, half positive, but now it's just today on Fox 5, 35-year-old shot dead, and the next story coming up next. Murdered, and I was like, God damn,
like
where's
even like
the good stuff?
And like what I did learn was that when you the more you consume that type of stuff, the weaker you become spiritually, mentally. Because like,
It's draining.
it's a fear. All right, so like COVID, for example, I'm gonna speak on it because I'm an herbalist, and I was kind of like, I was ahead in that during that time, like as far as the herbs and what it could do for the immune system. Our immune system gets weaker when we consume so much fear. That doesn't help us at all. So I know that during COVID, I didn't worry about. I was around people with COVID, never gave nobody COVID because I was not giving that shit no energy. When like the COVID countdown, I come home, mama like, put on 3 masks. I'm just like, man, what the hell, 3 masks? A fart gonna come through my pants with some my gym shorts and my boxes. You know what I'm saying? If I had COVID, you gonna get it. And it'll be a COVID countdown track on Fox 5, just like how many people got it now. Come on, man, that can't be real time. And it's just
or the death rate on CNN. It was the death rate every
the death
day.
rate, the death
How
rate
many
showing
people
out.
was
That's
dying.
that put fear, and that's right down the corner. So even if they
Yeah.
ain't talking about COVID, it's right there for you to see, like it's the damn channel or something like that. That's weird, and that's what it do. It puts people in his mind. So
No, you're right. And look, 3 years later, everybody's just
normal.
Sitting here
It
chilling.
normal.
was a fear tactic for sure.
Now, fear is an industry in itself. That's what I just think about it. Every time they do outside of COVID, a fear tactic, what happened? Everybody running to the grocery stores, buying up all this and that. So that's
Tissue.
just more money being put into the economy or into these people's pockets because of the fear industry. And the fear come back. Now Big Pharma, they getting all their coins off of medicine and people want to prepare this and that. So it's wild, man.
I can talk about that forever, but we're not gonna do that. We ain't gonna,
different day.
yeah, we're gonna do that another day. But just as far as like, no, I try to make sure I stay away from fear. I think because I grew up with that, my mama just trying to put stuff on me. I don't walk around with that, and I train myself to not do that because I noticed the big change. You know what I'm saying? The vibration goes up, and like I said, ultimately just trying to consume positive things. I watch a lot of different podcasts, motivational people talking.
Yeah.
Affirmations. I listen to all that, and even my music. Like, some folks just listen to like. I got a mood and a time I want to listen to like that ignorant shit. You know what I'm saying? I think everybody like that hood rat shit once in a while, but most of my music be like hustling. I'm ready to get to it. You know what I'm saying? Or it's just R&B.
And I'm glad you said that because look, if we just keeping it real, you can't listen to that stuff every day.
Yeah, it don't do
man.
it.
That's gonna
it can't.
drain you.
Nah, real talk. Like
You can't, man.
you listen to
Not to cut you off, like I live by that. It's like, but one thing I did leave out before I speak about that. One of the best things that I can do is honestly prayer and practicing a walk with God. Right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it is.
When I do that and just really try to dig deep into that, it's just so much peace and serenity that comes from that. It's just to the point where it really trumps everything. But of course, that's a daily thing that you got to do and practice to get you to that point. But just knowing, and not just when I say prayer, not just the usual, God, let me make a home today, let me just protect me and my family, but having just really sitting down
Just talking.
and speaking to God like he's your best friend. Like sometimes you may cuss, sometimes you may cry, but a real deal relationship in that area, it helps get through the mental anxiety and stuff of that nature. But
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
one of the biggest things that helps mental health. I forgot what I was about to go through after that. I lost my whole train of thought. But
you got it, Gaze.
No, it was before you had.
Oh yeah,
segue
the
into
music
that.
and stuff. So
Yeah.
so for myself, right? I have a background. I started out just with whatever I was doing, it was making music. Like that's all I did, making music with me and my homeboys, this and that. But
Boss Club.
as I got, shout out to BC, everybody in the organization.
Sure.
But as I got older, I had to realize like every time I got into the car, I was putting on somebody's mixtape, album, or song, right? But I was just being entertained and I wasn't learning anything. Like I still to this, I love my rap music and this and that, but I had to realize like, man, we got these holes in our bodies for a reason. The 2 ears, our eyes, our nose, these entrances and exits are here for a reason. So monitoring what you are consuming, like what you're watching, what you're listening to, what you're eating that's coming into your body, notice all that stuff, some of it can kill you for what you're eating. When you watch stuff, you can see it and get real repetitive and copy it. But also what you're listening to, that's a direct download to your brain. So if you, just like how these young kids today, these young boys and praying for our youth, they run around all day just trying to kill folks, rob folks. They listen to all the drill music, the rap, and they thinking
Daily.
this is what life's supposed to be because that's all they listen to. So for the past, I kid you not, 2 or 3 years, before that, I used to know all the new music, but now I couldn't tell you what's new unless it's somebody in BC or a favorite artist, and I don't go searching for it. If it pops up, then I'll hear it, but I stopped listening to the radio. Anytime I'm in the car, if you ride with me, you know I got a podcast on.
Oh, God.
I'm daily trying to learn and consume information as far as to progress in life. Because music, I can't learn from it. It's just entertainment, but it's like it's a time and place for it. But in the whip, I can't do it no more because it's either just know that if you listen to a rap song, it puts you in the mood. So if I'm listening to Dirk or Lil Baby, I'm gonna kind of be in the mood to down, turn up or just
my big
let some anger out or something like that. Cause that's what that energy is putting into my body. So just cutting off the time you spend consuming the negative stuff, it really will help you out progress as a person in life. So shoot, put on a podcast or even audiobooks. I never used to like to read at all. I can read, but it was just like, man, this shit is so boring. Just sitting here flipping through these pages, but knowing that it's so much information inside of these books, like you look up to whomever, whether it's Steve Harvey or somebody, they can't touch everybody at once, right? So what they do is make a book to put out to the masses, but if you're not consuming it, you're not gonna learn nothing. So listen to audiobooks changed my life, and just cutting out driving around and on my free time bumping music, doing that is very important to, of course, help your mental health and where you're going in life. And that's what I was going with that point.
It's funny you said that with the music thing because prior to this week, it was actually Lil Uzi that had broke the record, but no hip hop album has charted it was for 2023.
Yeah, 2023 hit the #1 spot.
Yeah, and then I feel like a lot of people are on that wave because, music, you want to feel something. You want to feel good. You want it to feel relatable. And it's actually Afro beats. It's country. It's what else? Reggaeton. Like, it's all these different genres that are topping the charts because these artists are making stuff that are making people feel good. It's making people like you can relate to it. Meanwhile, other artists is like,
I mean, yeah, like that. Don't say it's one is repetitive. So everybody in the rap game, most not trying to discredit nobody, but they be sounding the same. Yeah. Y'all all got the same narrative. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the best thing you got right now is your beat. That's what's gonna make you different. Your beat right now and your voice. That's the only two things that's gonna make you different. So like, but y'all all talking about the same thing, and you talking to people that again is impressionable on you, like younger kids who don't have anything. You sitting there telling folk that I fucked this broke nigga girl. You know what I'm saying? It's just like that energy, all that stuff is just like, I mean, it goes, but as far as the worldwide view, it won't. It just makes a lot of sense. Because you catch me, I might mess around and listen to Morgan Wallen. You might catch me listen to a little, you know what I'm saying? With that song, the Tennessee Whiskey? You know what I'm talking about? That jump hit, like, but, because it make me feel good, but.
Yeah. No, facts. So the closing question, so y'all have a podcast. Yes. Name?
Inherited Podcast.
Okay, so what's the podcast about? How do y'all bring value to people?
So it was just like he has his own and I have my own. We just
it's two separate podcasts.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
we produce out of you good. We produce out of the same studio, Gate 7 Studios. But for me, I'm gonna have a brand called Inherited, and pretty much for Inherited, like I stand on and what it represents is discipline and consistency. So I want to push the narrative of throughout life, and I notice it's like with myself and some of my peers. A lot of things don't work out because we're not consistent at it. Just point blank period is the consistency is missing. You can be disciplined, you can have great talent and X, Y, and Z, but if you're not consistent, nothing's gonna work out for you. So with this podcast, what I do is I want people to be able to relate to someone they look like, and they may hear a story that's gonna motivate them to get out their ass and go do the work. So I bring on guests, and actually get to the root of their background. They get their origin stories and start from point A and allow them to express from point A, from childhood to middle school, high school, and college, where if they went, how did you get to where you are now with your success in your business or your influence or whatnot? So with my podcast, that's what I like to promote. Again, I don't and I won't, well, I can't say ever, but had a guest with a whole talk about the 50-50 this and man versus woman, this and that. Like, my goal is to bring value to my community. So that's my goal and my purpose with the Inherited Podcast and the Inherited brand.
Dope.
Mine is called the Don Diallo Podcast. Diallo is a West African term for bold. I think that any person that is out getting off their ass and just doing anything, I think that's bold, because you can just give up and be like these people who just don't do shit. So I try to capture, entrepreneur stories, just any type of hustle, you know what I'm saying, that you're doing. But I also want to capture my essence of who I am. Like, some days I'm feeling real spiritual and real humble. Some days I want to pop out and pop my shit. You know what I'm saying? I also want to capture all that. So I want to bring in a whole lot of different people. They can bring value, but of course, like growth conversation. Like we can get ignorant, but let's get to the growth of the conversation. Because sometimes people don't understand the proper professionalism and all that. Because most of my peers, sometimes when I get to talking the way I talk, like righteous, they be like, nigga, you lost me completely. So I want to, you know what I'm saying? So I want to bring that all I want to bring it all into, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of have a good time, good conversation, gems, good laughs,
Right.
and just real conversations. Like can get gutter, and go wherever direction it got to go. As long as we get to the end where it's growth.
Right.
So
Dope.
yeah.
Well,
man.
thank y'all so much for coming.
Oh,
For
thank you
sure,
having us.
from the
It's
block.
for real.
Yeah, I love this conversation. I want y'all to come back. Hopefully, y'all want to come back.
Nah, for sure.
Oh,
Anytime.
yeah.
Anytime.
Hell yeah. So, in conclusion, go touch grass, go to therapy, find a great community, be present, and
Get off the news.
men's mental health matters. Okay,
Damn
so
right.
make sure you follow them on all social media platforms at
Sir Gates BC on Instagram and Sir Gates across the board. And make sure you follow Inherited. And it's spelled NHERITD. So follow that page and Inherited Podcast.
Y'all can follow me and find me on all social platforms at Who Is Realer. That's WHOISRXLLA. You can also follow the Don Diallo podcast at THE Don DONDIALLO podcast. And Don Diallo gonna be dropping soon. Give it a month. Inherited is already out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you feel me? We going crazy over there at Gate 7. So
You got to pull up on it too.
yeah, we gotta
for
get
sure.
you
Just
next.
let me know.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, folks. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.
Deuces.
Yeah.